All right, there's breaking news coming in. We're learning that Israel has officially announced Operation Iron Swords to combat the ambush attacks by Hamas and Hezbollah. Remember, Hezbollah was formed in 1982 in response to the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. Remember, Hezbollah is a Lebanon-based Shia terrorist group. Now, this is an operation which has been named Iron Swords. To get us more on this, we're crossing over to CNN News 18, Siddhant Mishra. Siddhant, it's now going to be Iron Swords, that operation versus Al-Aqsa Storm. But when it comes to the firepower of both sides, who's on the stronger side?
Right now, given the situation, since the Hamas has taken Israeli soldiers hostage. In fact, we have also been told that some of the soldiers have been taken to their side of the border, is in their custody. Then they have been butchering civilians on the roads of the southern parts of Israel. They have captured armored Israeli vehicles. They are launching rockets. So surely they have an upper hand right now, given the fluid situation on ground. But one needs to understand that Israel has been surviving the attacks, the wars from last 50 years, and this time around, as you rightly said, that it's going to be Iron Swords versus Operation Al-Aqsa. And also, interestingly, one more detail that we are pricking right now is that Israel is alleging not just Hamas behind these terror strikes, but Israel is also alleging, or perhaps suspects to have involvement of some of the militant groups in Lebanon, Syria, and since it was a coordinated combined attack from all these countries, launched from all these countries into the Israel, that perhaps made situation for Israel difficult to handle in a first go. But the assessment is still going on. We could expect a strong statement coming from Israel, maybe in some time from now. But Iron Sword has been launched, and specifically two terror groups, two militant groups have been mentioned. One is Hamas and the other is Hezbollah. Now, Hezbollah is seen as a group, allegedly backed by Iranian forces. Hamas is a group which is backed by the Palestinians. This is what we have been given to understand. So these two names have been taken, but Israel also believes that there have been multiple attacks from multiple frontiers, and that perhaps made situation for Israel difficult. So it is one of the biggest ever, the greatest ever attack that have taken place on the Israeli soil by the Hamas, and it would be interesting to see that what is going to be the conclusion or the final end of this invasion, because Israel is taking it as a war. And in fact, going by the visuals that we are getting from Hamas office, where celebratory prayers are being offered after watching TV, it has escalated and has gone onto some other level. And God only knows that how things are going to be settled down, how the peace will prevail, not just in that particular area, but whole of the region.
Siddhant, do we have any details of the weapons that are currently being used in the conflict?
Yes. So, it all started with the launchers. The rockets have been launched, and also there were initial reports that the Iron Dome didn't respond to the rockets fired, and this is the reason that the large area has been damaged. That these militants are carrying sophisticated weapons. They also have sharp objects in their hands, and looking at the way they are butchering people on the roads of Israel. They have sharp objects in their hands. They are making Israeli soldiers hostage. They are making Israeli people hostages, and they are also capturing their armored vehicles. They are perhaps making videos and circulating it as a sign of victory over Israeli forces. Also, one tank of Israel has been put on fire at the border on the Gaza Strip by the Hamas forces. So these are the developments that we have been given to understand. There's large number of people migrating from those areas to safer places. The shelter places are being occupied by these people to avoid the rocket attacks, the missile attacks. A lot is being done on ground, but but as I mentioned, that this attack has happened from different frontiers. This is what Israelis suspect. Let's wait for the full assessment. Then it is difficult for Israel to handle. It was difficult, but now since after the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu took a high-level security assessment meeting, there's going to be a cabinet meeting, and they have already declared operation against Hamas. It's going to last for a few days, but what is going to be the end result is something which would be interesting to see.
Sadhan, I'm going to request that you stay with us. We're getting some more updates. We'll just read that out. The head of the Shar HaNegev Regional Council, Ofer Leibstein, was reportedly killed earlier today when he exchanged gunfire with Palestinian terrorists that were attempting to cross the border into the region. That is one of the updates that's coming in about the death of the head of the Shar HaNegev Regional Council, Ofer Leibstein. Azan, do we have any details on this?
Well, the one that you are mentioning, we are still trying to find out more details. But what we can tell our viewers is that we were reporting that there has been a strike. IDF is currently striking Hamas targets in Gaza. Now that has been confirmed by IDF official X handle that the strikes are going on. So the operation that has been announced is already being executed on ground. So there are two challenges right now. One, to bomb the terror launch pads in the Gaza Strip, and that is being done by the Air Force. And the second one is to neutralize these terrorists, these Hamas group leaders, those who have infiltrated into Israeli terrorists. And the third and the most challenging one is to make sure that everyone remains safe in their residential complexes, in their commercial complexes, and the complexes are guarded by police forces and other security establishments. So these are the three targets before Israel right now. To prevail the law and order situation, to eliminate these terrorists is a top priority. And once that is done, then Israel would be all out executing the operation against Hamas.
Sadhan, do stay with us. We want to continue to remain on this story as it's currently developing as well. Now, one thing that you had mentioned, the fact that there's going to be cabinet meet, which is going to be taking place at 1 p.m. A security assessment is currently being held. That is what's been said by the Prime Minister's office there. But when it comes to the cabinet meet, we can expect strategy to be outlined at that point. But beyond strategy, can we also expect messages to be sent out to allies for help from Israel's side?
Absolutely. We could see a strong statement coming from countries like America, from countries like countries in Europe, because what is happening in Israel, the world is watching. It's not just an invasion. It's not just two forces fighting. It's not any random fight or a friction on Gaza Strip. It is much more beyond that. Ordinary people, common citizenry is being targeted. They are being butchered. They are being murdered on the streets. The people are being dragged out of their cars and they are being killed. The vehicles are being captured. These terrorists are entering private residential complexes. There is an atmosphere of fear. There is an atmosphere of terror in the southern part of Israel bordering Gaza. And that is unprecedented and something which nobody ever expected Hamas to do. Hamas somewhere has crossed that Lakshman Rekha, which was never crossed by Hamas before. There used to be forces fighting. There used to be missiles being sent by each side to the other sides. There were, some brawls happening on the Gaza Strip, some counter-terrorism operations taking place. But what is happening today is a blot on the entire Palestinian movement, because the normal people, the ordinary people, the common man is being killed. And it is the situation, it's a hostage situation, and there's a free run for these Palestinian supported Hamas terror group to roam around and kill people. Back to you.
Now, Sadhan, the United States has frequently called Israel a non-NATO ally.